I am so excited to bring up the next panel, The Heart of Housing, with people who are really going to talk about how do you translate that love into your business and personal life with the focus of success. So I'd like to bring up our moderator, Blaine McCarty, the Director of Communications at EPM, a personal friend of mine and mentor, Laura Brandao, President and Partner at AFR Wholesale, and Katie Clancy, she's my tattoo sister, VP of Sales at the Cape House.
We're in the wrong seats.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a bit cold, right? We brought the cold today. It's a bit too cold. That Arctic blast is hitting us. But today, we're going to put the empathy back in the industry. We're going to warm your hearts a bit, right? With the Heart of Housing panel. So I've got the illustrious with long titles. We've got Katie Clancy and Laura Brandao. Good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad to be here with you. Let's get started, right? We got time. So let's get started with you, Katie. My first question for you is how did we get here, right? Why are we having this conversation? How did we get here in this industry?
Okay, so why are we even talking about this? Why are we talking about putting the heart in the industry? Where did it go? What is in the industry? And what is the problem? The problem is the heart is being removed from the industry. Way back, I don't know how many people actually studied the history of the housing industry before you got into it. I didn't. I was like, I'm gonna make some money, right? But I didn't really know where this all came from and why people give us all that money. And it goes back to like the 20s when people realized they couldn't just buy and sell houses from each other and do it well, because it's too personal, it's too emotional. You could do it some one-offs. I mean, my first house that I bought, I didn't use a real estate agent and I didn't use a loan officer. My husband's grandfather sold us the house and held the mortgage, and we worked it out, which was great. Those one-offs are okay, but you can't do that at scale. You need help, you need an intermediary. You need someone who's gonna be neutral and not, and help you from having a problem. Because Laura and I could probably buy and sell a house one time from each other. I don't know if we'd want to keep doing it over and over. It's nice to have someone in the middle. So that's where it all started. And then over time, the locus of control, the brokers were like, hey, I'll make a little money. People value that. They value having that neutral person in the middle. And over time, is that Soleil? Over time, things have changed a lot. What hasn't changed is the way that, there's a lot about our industry that does need change. And money has come in from the outside, not from the inside of our industry, from the outside, and says, you guys are doing it wrong. We're gonna get so much money, we're gonna change how you do it. And they're missing the big point. And they're missing the heart piece. And that's where we can keep from getting disrupted. That's why this conference even exists. So there's my history.
Love it. All right, I want to turn it to you now. How have you seen it change as you've been in the industry?
So first and foremost, guys, number one, how awesome is this? How incredible has this conference been, right? Okay, so Blaine, you said, how have things changed? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if I ever in my entire career have thought of coming together with realtors, with retail, with brokers, with a lender, and everyone coming together for the good of learning what we need to do to be better. For us to know how to be our best selves, for us to understand what we need to do to serve and to make a difference in the families that we work with. That is what has changed. Years ago, when I first started in this industry, it was very money-focused. I mean, to be quite honest, I was almost embarrassed to tell people what I did for a living. Because the minute that you said mortgage, they would go, oh, I got a good rate. I don't need anything. I'm okay. And I would be like, wow, how is it that people are so defensive when you speak about the biggest purchase and the roof over your children's heads? How is that? But see, by coming together like this, in a room like this, of all of us listening and absorbing and feeling how we can serve, that's how we put the heart into what we do. It's not the money. Listen, we didn't come into this industry, thinking with our heart. But now it's our heart that keeps us here. And that's what's important.
Well said, right? All right, so how do we do this?
Yeah.
Right? How do
So
do
we can
this?
cheerlead about this all
Right.
day, but we need to get great. Okay, how do I get paid by being nice?
Exactly.
So how can I get paid? Actually, I make bank by being nice. So I had don't you? Everybody in here has a story, right? You have a story that'll break my heart. Every one of you. But you're here. So what I'm hoping is you took your story. I have a story too, and it broke my heart, nearly killed me. And I had to think about, I fucking hated the business, actually. I was like, this is gross. Real estate agents eat their young. We are not good people. And I don't want to be associated with, but I had I had burned all my boats. I'm like, well, you got to figure it out. So I made a decision at a very low moment, well, I can't figure out my own shit, so I'm going to try to take care of other people. And I'm going to go be a blessing to other people. I'm not going to be defined by what happened to me. I'm going to be defined by what I make happen in the world. And so I said, I'm going to try to be a blessing to people. I started with my husband, who I was really trying to divorce, but we didn't have enough money to get divorced, so we're like, we'll put that on the back burner. So I started like, well, I'll start with him, try to be a blessing to him. Long story short, we're almost 30 years married. We're doing great, very happy. Thank you. But then I started trying it on my prospects because I didn't have clients. So I was trying it on people who might work with me. I'm like, how can I make Laura better than when I found her? Because I believe she's already good. She's great, which was not the perspective I held before. Everybody had little dollar signs on their foreheads. I'm like, I don't really like him, but he probably has some money, so I'm going to see what I can do to get it. And real talk. So I started looking at people and being like, okay, I might not like him, but look, he's got a ring on his finger. Someone picked him. Okay, all right. And he's got a picture. He talked about his kids. My God, that means someone thinks he hung the moon. This guy's probably got something really interesting and cool. So I started to just look at people differently and acknowledge how good they are and do whatever I could as a professional to make them better, give them what they wanted. I do that every day in my work. And I never lose. I never lose, even if I don't do business, because nothing works all the time. It is the best strategy, and I love what I do. Like, I can't wait to get out there and talk about houses with people who want to talk about houses. Not gonna assault anybody with it. But if I can make a difference in their life, that's what I do, and that's the heart for me. I had no idea that my degree's in zoology. Like, it's not what I thought I was gonna do. But I could not imagine doing anything else. I couldn't.
So it sounds like you're saying, remember the person, right? Put the person in
Only the
equation.
person.
Only the person. How would you do the same?
Listen, I think it starts with you. Every single thing starts with you. If we do not look internally and pull down our defenses and stop being vulnerable. Jackie, it makes me so proud to watch Jackie come out here. I mean, I've watched her grow and flourish and come into her own over the last couple of years. Nothing makes me smile more than watching people embrace who they are. When you cannot truly connect with another until you get over yourself first. So tear down your walls, accept who you are, go out on those YouTube videos and show the world.
Yes.
And as Karen said, you will attract other people that are like you. I have to tell you, when I started in this mortgage industry, I never went to conferences. You didn't see me on a stage. You didn't see me on social media. You never saw me anywhere. You know why? Because those rooms were filled with people that were not like me. And so when I showed up, they were like, that person is way too happy. That person is way too passionate. Who does she think she is? We're here to be serious. We are not here to show passion. But this industry has changed. And these last couple of years have been invigorating. But you have to show that to the people that you're bringing into your network, to those families and those clients and those prospects and those team members. My God, look at this room. You should get to know every single person in this room today.
Amen
if
to
you
that.
have not met them.
Yeah.
You need to go up to them. You need to introduce yourself. You need to exchange all your contacts. Get on social media with them, because there is no competitors here. Each and every one of you is an individual, and we are all here to help each other thrive. But when you do it internally from your heart, we all win.
I have two tactical things that I can deliver to you. You guys can start today. So one of the mistakes that we made earlier in your life, your careers, is first of all, we commoditize our people. You got to stop that. Mm-hmm. We talk about them like they're things, leads, funnels, prospects, all that stuff.
Families.
They're families. So we've commoditized them, but we've commoditized ourselves. We've been taught to be just kind of, toe aligned. Don't be too much like me and Laura.
Too much.
F that. So you need to brand yourself. You need to brand yourself.
Yeah.
Very simple way to do that. I'm going to run you through a very fast exercise right now. You got to find. So this is. We'll see if this translates well to mortgage. The people, places. So the people you like to work with. There's all different kinds of people. Mm-hmm. The places you like to do business. The price points you like to do business. And I forget my last piece. So whatever that was. I really don't know. So think about who you like to work with, what price points, all that stuff. That's part of your brand. What are three words that people use when they describe you, people who like you? Like what are the words? Write those down right now. If you don't know, text someone who loves you. What would you say 3 words are that describe me? Okay? Now I want you to open up your social media. Look at the themes. What do you see? 2 themes that you see in your social media that you post. One woman was like, cats and politics. I was like, well, write it down. And then the last thing is the 4, 3, 2, 1. The one is, what is one thing that you get teased about by people who love you? Like your quirk. What's your quirky thing that might drive someone actually really crazy? On a bad day, it's annoying. On a good day, it's kind of cute. Like, that's the most Karen thing I've ever seen you do. Like, what is the thing that you could there's your brand. Mix that up, put it in the oven. You'll figure out what your brand is. You got to go out and be that.
Yes.
Be that, because then people will, listen, we are not everybody's cup of tea. But we're somebody's tequila shot. Right?
That's true.
So, like, you ain't gonna please everybody. You're not gonna get all of the work, because you can't handle it. Also, and you don't want it. You only want the right people. So that's one. So you gotta brand yourself. And I don't want to monopolize here. Let you give it.
No, but
swirl.
you're 100% correct. The branding is the most important thing. But the problem with branding is a lot of times people are trying to figure out, well, what brand should I be?
No, you just be what you are. It's not something you create. It's something you discover. You just
Correct.
lift up the hood and you're like, there I am. It's the easiest thing in the world.
That's correct.
Right? And don't be like, I do jumbo loans. No, you don't. You want to, but that's not your wheelhouse.
No.
You got to go with your wheelhouse. Be who you are and what you're good at.
Yeah.
I have a second thing.
Go.
Go.
Go for it. Give it
All
to
right.
us.
One of the hardest things that I think we run into is because we work with the public. We often are like, I don't care, especially when you're getting started. I'll take any loan. I'll take any client, any realtor. I'll work. I don't care. I just need the business. That is okay for a little while. But after a little while, you got to start being more clear about who you work with. So you want to start paring that down. But in the meantime, you're always going to run against someone on their bad day. And you're going to do a humanize exercise with them. So let's say that you're in a deal and you finally got this realtor to work with you, but she's a raging bitch. You're like, God, I hate this woman. Why is this even worth it? So you got to sit back for a minute and be like, all right, so what's going on? What makes her tick? Why is she acting like this? What is at stake for her in this deal? You might not even know. You haven't even thought about it. So what motivates her? And then go into her social media and be like, did someone marry her? Like, just like I was talking before, that means someone picked her. Does she have kids? Someone Absolutely. Think about your mom. You love your mom, right? Someone loves her. Try to see her from another perspective. Does she play tennis? Oh my God, she has a dog just like my dog. Well, maybe she's not that bad. Humanize the people who you have this impulse to demonize them. Humanize them, and you would be amazed how those bitchy ones turn real soft and fuzzy and end up as some of your best friends.
Yeah, you know, I want to share a story actually that happened yesterday, and I can't see if he's in the room or not. But during a break, I like to speak to people around me. That's how I grow, right? I learn and I listen from people around me. And we were just having a conversation with a couple people around. And the gentleman next to me was telling me his story about how he started his own broker shop in 2020. And he said, yeah, my mom thought I was crazy jumping into this during COVID and making this transition. He said, you know, I was so engulfed in the day-to-day and keeping up and doing all this that I didn't stop and think about the most important thing. And I said, so what was the most important thing? He said, I'm a life changer. I'm a life changer. And he said, in that moment, every time as that call is coming in, of that, oh boy, that appraisal, oh boy, this didn't happen, oh no, we have this issue. You guys are changing lives. You guys are making miracles happen. And when you remember that, the other stuff is just minutia. Just remember that.
Amen.
I'm already feeling it. I have just, for somebody who walks up to you, right, you both are owning yourselves. We love to see it. And they say, I don't know how to put the heart into it. How do you do that? What do you coach them through? How do you put the heart into their people, right?
Well, I mean, listen, it's like I said, no one can tell you how to put your heart into something, right? I mean, that has to come from internal. But to answer that question about owning it, right? When you're finding your way, I mean, none of us are born one day and it's like, oh, I'm the most confident person and hey, let me go up and introduce myself. No one is born that way. But I have to tell you, when you stop trying to be everyone else, that's where the confidence comes from. That's when you know, and Katie, great point when she said, when we're all starting out, we're taking everything, right? We're taking the craziest. Matter of fact, I love speaking to clients. So I was speaking to a client last week, and I said, how were your holidays? How's January? She's like, Laura, I swore I wouldn't get into a certain loan product, but I was trying to help a family, and it was a disaster. She's like, they literally sold their home and had nowhere to live, and I could not get a loan done for them at all. She said it was the most traumatic thing I've ever went through. And when you told that about knowing who you are and what expertise you have and what you can offer and be there, you have to be confident in that because we can't all be everything to everyone. But she's nailed it when she said, it's not transactions. It's not loans. And I actually want to share a story about that. So it was about 10 years ago at my company, and we were going through a big growth spurt at that time. So I was training a lot of leaders, new leaders, and every single day we would meet and we would go over strategies and figuring things out. And I was trying to really get my operations team to connect with the people we work with, okay? And we were like, man, how do we connect in our hearts these two together? And all of a sudden, one of my people stood up and he said, Laura, I have an idea. And I said, great, Andy, what's your idea? He says, Laura, how about if we refer to every single person as a family? And I said, oh my God, that seems so simple, but yet brilliant. And in that moment, I stood up and I went into the president's office at that time and I said, I'm making a company proclamation. And he's like, oh, good grief, Laura. Now what? What are we doing today? And I said, we are doing every single reference is going to be a family. From the loan approvals to the way we speak to everything that we mark, we will never refer to a loan or a transaction. It starts with us. If we go around speaking to people as prospects and loans and transactions and dollar volumes, how are you connecting to them?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I have to add to that. So if you're only measuring money, then none of this is going to work.
Correct.
If you're only measuring dollars, you got to measure other things. You got to measure, sure, we're always working in 3 currencies. One is money, second is time, and the third is what I call personal capital. You can measure that. How am I feeling? If anybody here journals in the morning, there's little thing you can do. How am I feeling? 0 to 10. 0 to 10. How am I feeling? Keep track of that. If that thing's hovering down in the 2s, you are poor. You got nothing. I don't care how much money's in your bank account. So you got to start to measure what matters, because if you measure it, it's going to grow, right?
True.
Everything you measure improves. But more on the tactical piece, knowing who you are for sure. But you guys, I'm going to speak specifically to lenders right now. You guys want to residential lenders, you're going for us. You want to have relationships with us. And I'm fascinated to be here and listen to the perspective that you have. And
Tell them. They want to hear. They
so
wanna
fantastic.
know.
All right, a couple of things. You have, there's so much low-hanging fruit for you to humanize the experience with us as real estate agents. I said it yesterday, a lot of us are way undereducated about the most basics, the utter basics of how mortgages work. So get on your YouTube and start doing a series. Do a series that says Mortgage 101, and you can even be funny about it for realtors who are too scared to ask. It can be like that sex ed class that you don't like, the birds and bees of mortgages, so we can be like, what's that and what's that? What's the difference between those two? What are these words mean and how do I make it work? You can do something like that, a series that we would absolutely devour. Secretly at home, like when nobody is watching. We're not going to come to a thing ever again, just so you know. I'm not coming to a lunch. I'm not coming to anything. We talked about what happens at coffee. We're not doing it. But if you give me something I can consume on my own and make me feel smart, make me look smart, I am going to be so grateful to you. And if you be real nice about it, the same way we are with our real estate clients, we educate them on things that we think are, how do you not know this? Like, how can you be an adult and not know this? Right? Yeah, but how can you be a real estate agent and I'm out here slinging houses and I don't know anything about mortgage? That's not cool. But I look at anybody, definitely anybody who's 5 years or newer in the business, they don't know enough about it, especially if they don't have a house of their own, which a lot of people don't as real estate agents. So I would start serving them in that way and pick and choose by the people that you just like. I feel comfortable around people probably who are in your similar demographic, and you will grow together. That's one wonderful way to start to build those relationships. And another thing is, just a basic thing is referrals are a two-way street, boys and girls. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought we only gave you business. It's not that funny. Until one loan officer was like, hey, give me a whole neighborhood to sell. I was like, you guys do that? He was like, yeah, we do now. Yeah, I do it all the time. He was like, yeah, I guess this is gonna work. But so that was, I digress.
I actually want to ask a question because this is very, very good for the audience, right? Is that, like I said, the opportunity to have lenders and realtors together. This is very valuable for all of you, okay? So I know a few years ago, I worked with a broker that he used to help realtors with their social media. Mm-hmm. And they used to tag team, and they used to do things with education and social media. Mm-hmm. Would that be beneficial? I'm just curious because I want to give them some tips.
Absolutely, because if you think of what anybody needs out here, if you are out there and you can talk to people about how great your YouTube channel is and show them how to do it, do it. I don't know how many times we have to tell you this. They'll come to your class, but you can also just come and tell us about our mortgages. You want to refi? I might refi. I just came out of this going, maybe I do need to pull some money out of my house and go buy some more real estate. Talk to us about our houses, our lives. That would be a wonderful thing.
But
Very
that
personal.
goes back to heart again. Like, think about it. That goes back to heart, because we all know we're not calling them to ask them to go for a drink, and we're not cold calling them, right? But what you just said is, no one's actually asking the realtor about themselves. No one's actually finding out their story. No one's asking them how they came into the business, or what they're doing, or their market, or how they've grown. Right there, think about that.
Like
That's
Karen
different.
said, enough about me. What do you think about me? Yeah.
Exactly. So getting to know and understanding about you gives them an opportunity to understand what you need.
Yep.
And then there's a personal bond between you.
And we want nothing more than to be able to go out and talk to our clients and be like, I have got a team like you wouldn't believe. And I'll tell you one thing that we really do. If any of you have access to like credit repair people, okay, we're constantly coming into people who want to buy a house. We don't know how to tell them to get there. And I know sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, I can send them to my lender, but I know that's not going to be a deal for at least a year. I feel weird doing that. But listen, you need business next year too.
Yeah.
So be willing and even advertise. Be like, hey, do you have people who are scared to talk to you? I have someone I talked to yesterday. She's like, I really don't want to go get the lender letter. I'm like, I really don't want to go shopping with you then. But I won't shop with you until I know what you can spend, that you can spend anything. They're afraid to, and I can't advise them about, I can't tell you what might happen. I don't know what happens exactly when they pull your credit. I want to be able to hand them to you, Laura, and you be like, I got it. And even if you've got a team and you've got some junior officers who are going to be the ones who help them, that's fine too. But now they're in the family. Now they're in the family, and you can nurture them. Like I said, you need business next year too.
Yeah.
Nurture.
That's exactly right. And again, we met this morning. We were having a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a no-brainer, you guys.
Yes. But it's the understanding, right? It's the understanding the two sides. And yesterday on the panel that you were on yesterday, somebody said the communication, right? You just said it too about the team. Guys, I don't know about you, right? I don't know about you, but I never thought about on the realtor side what you just said about that team behind you. Picture that, right? Here they are. You don't want the phone call saying, uh-oh, this just happened, right? But you want to know that they can text JT. I'll just use the example from yesterday. So, they can reach out to the credit repair. Whatever credit repair company, I know that I can get them on the phone. I know that I can get a response. I know there's a team. But how would they know that if you're not having those conversations?
Yeah.
If you're not telling Katie and her team, guys, I want you to know. Matter of fact, it just gave me an idea. Picture you guys actually showing them, this is my team. This is who I use for my credit repair. This is who I use on my AMC side. This is who the lender would be on this particular transaction. Like, how about actually even showing them, this is the team you're working with. You're not just getting me. You're getting all of this. That's powerful.
I would actually love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. Because also I'll know that I love knowing that you've got access to all the players in there, because once I hand it off I'm like, yay, get a mortgage.
No.
Yeah, I like it.
And wait, let's take it.
Yeah. Please get a mortgage. All I know is like, don't buy a car and don't quit your job. That's the extent of my mortgage advice. Like,
Yes.
that's all I got.
No furniture yet,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. I've had someone retire in the middle, because we have a real resort community around Cape Cod. They retired in the middle of the loan. I was like, are you kidding me? Get a damn job, Grandma.
Can't you just go back?
getting to know you is amazing, right? And all I can think about right now is you started with zoology, though.
Yes, I
Right?
did.
I'm like, I picked up on this, and you're like, get to know me. I'm like, zoology.
Yeah, it's zoology, but and it's
Zoology,
realtor.
excuse me.
But you're welcome. So yeah, no, well, here's a very human thing. I did this, and I continue to live by these words. Is I follow what fires me up. Follow it. Where's the fire in my heart right now? That's why I tell my kids, major in whatever gets you going, and that's what I did. And then I was poor and needed a job that didn't require training. Okay, very low bar to entry. Let's not joke about that. That's a real thing. This is why we're being disrupted. It's not that hard to actually get in here. It's hard to stay. But yeah, that's my degree. You know what? It's actually served me very well. I'm very good at analysis. I was a scientist, and that whole animal behavior class has been very helpful.
But doesn't that tie into what we're speaking about too with the heart? It is animal behavior. That's what we are.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm analyzing all you all right now.
But for someone like me, I used to work in a zoo, right? And knowing that about you, yes, I used to work in a zoo.
Now there's a
I was a
connection.
communications person at a zoo, right? So knowing that about you, I would immediately be like, oh, we have something in common. I am actually a naked mole rat expert.
Damn.
Oh,
Okay.
according
all right.
to a child's book, you know, I am listed in there. So
Really? That's so cool.
If we didn't share that, we wouldn't know. That's
Yeah.
part of the heart.
That
Exactly.
is.
Which leads me to another thing you guys can do. I don't see bios about you anywhere. Are you allowed to do that? Are you not allowed to do that? Is there some rule? Do you?
Yeah, they're
okay.
around.
So in my bio, you'll see I have a degree in zoology. I love CrossFit. My peak experience in my life, one of them was singing the Carmina Burana, right? With a full orchestra. I cried through most of it because I just was so overwhelmed. It was so amazing. I have gotten listings from the Carmina. I have gotten, people call and be like, zoology, how'd you get there? You know, we get talking about naked mole rats and
Right.
and now we're besties. Like, put real stuff in your bio. And let me give you some tips about what you can put in there. Make some notes right now. Peak life experiences. Pick 3 things in your life that just define you. That you're like, yes, I was like in my zone. That is me. Doesn't mean it's all gonna make it in there, but it's gonna inform what you put in there. Have a pattern of like a 1, a 2, and then a punchline when you're talking. I graduated from Babbitt. I don't really care. You're gonna get that in there, but have a cadence in there of a 1 point, a 2 point, and then a punchline. There's a few other things that I would put in there, but make your bio speak of you, of who you really are and what fires you up. And don't apologize for it. I used to be like, no one wants to hear any more about CrossFit. You know, I don't give a crap. I love it. Changed my life. Changed my life and my business. So that's what I do. Let's go. Yeah. But that's who you are. Some people are going to be like, ooh, not for me. Not for me. And that's fine.
Yeah,
You're not for me either.
There's a great speech from Carla Harris, if you ever want to watch it on YouTube. So she is one of the top Wall Street executives, a woman, Wall Street executives. And you even mentioned it early on where you were saying about the 3 words that would describe you. And Carla Harris, she was coming up through the Wall Street ranks as an executive, and she was always, again, she had to be very reserved in the buttoned-up business suit, and she never spoke about what she did outside of working on Wall Street because she thought that was the way she had to be. Well, one day during a client event that she was trying to take a company public, someone said, I heard Carla sing last night, and she's incredible. All of a sudden, the entire mood changed within that meeting, and she realized when she started sharing a piece of herself with the clients all wanted to work with her. So to your point, and I love that, the advice of the bio, I honestly don't think I've ever read a bio about a loan officer. I don't think I've ever seen one. So to your point, yes, it's wonderful to say if you graduated college and you did this, but you know what? People want to know. I love hiking. You know, I live here. I grew up here. I have 3 children, you know, and my children are like the gentleman yesterday. They wrestle, you know, or they play this. And what they enjoy to do. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. So when you share that, all of a sudden there's a connection with CrossFit. Look at, he got all excited when you said CrossFit. He's like, yes.
These are my people right here. Yeah.
So yes, I love that tip. That was great.
Yeah, talk
Look
about
at these takeaways, you guys.
decommoditize yourself is what you need to do. Decommoditize yourself
Yes.
because when you are commoditized, you're useless. You're nobody. So
You're
anything, and think about how you build your business, that what you do, anything that can be automated can be done at scale with enough money by somebody else, by VCs. So don't do that. Don't put your whole strategy on something that can be done so much better by automation or by a bot or by anything that isn't human. You need to humanize yourself, your clients, and you know your realtor partners, and you'll be unstoppable, undisruptible, to quote Rate My Agent and Molly. But that's really where you have to come from. And I know I'm like, people are gonna be like, what is with Katie and Karen? But I'm like telling you, it's like the easiest thing in the world. Start your damn YouTube channel. Like, do it. I'll watch it, because I'm gonna be like, how does that
Invite
actually
all
work?
of us, because all of you are going to get to know each other. And then you're going to say, look, here, subscribe, right? And, of course, in the words of Todd Bitter, pick up your damn phone.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
We have gone over a lot, right? We have a few minutes left. Let's recap again. This, you know, how do we change this transaction-based commoditizing when we're working and putting the heart back in housing, right? We had talked about this before we came on.
Well, Laura said start with yourself.
Right.
So
That's first.
You have to start with yourself. So tactically, first of all, is why are you even in this business?
Yeah.
What is your why? And if you see Shane, he'll ask you that 5 damn times, and you'll really have to know what your why is. I did that last night. So why? Why? Why are you in this business? What do you believe to be true? I believe people are good. What do you do about it? I leave them better. Has nothing to do with houses. So know why you're in the business, have a purpose that informs everything that you do. That would be the first step that I would say in terms of yourself.
Have a purpose.
Yeah.
Number one, yes, you start with yourself, but it's not about you. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. If you want to be successful for the long term, not a short term, not when the rates are the lowest rates they've ever been in the world. So if you want to be here for the long term, it's not about you. It's not about your success. It's not about you making money.
That's
it's
like
not about you.
Most free. When I figured that out, I was so free. When I was just thinking about them, it just made my job so much easier.
It's only about them. And when you're truly, you know, a few people spoke about being present. Be present with them. So many times we are all day, we're analyzing, right? You mentioned it about the person with the ring. We're scoping out. We're judging everything. We're looking at the clothes, and we're looking at how someone looks, and we're looking at how we're listening to how they sound, and we're making judgments. We're making judgments of whether this person is going to be an easy loan or it's going to be a complicated, I'm going to have to show them 50 houses. You know, we're making these judgments. When we stop making those judgments and start realizing that those are families and those are people that have come to us for help. Now, for the people that know me, I am a really big advocate about women in leadership and women in the mortgage industry. Yes, yes. And I cannot tell you how many stories I have heard about, because I do ask their whys, and I do ask them how they came into this industry. And the number one way that women came into this industry, there's 2 ways. One, I was actually told I couldn't get a loan.
Ooh.
I've had people, and I don't know if she's in this room, but I have one young lady that is attending this conference. I just can't see if she's here. she had a gentleman say, "Oh, honey, I don't think you'll qualify," without ever asking a question to her. And she said, "Heck yes, I'm coming into that industry and I will never allow someone to do that to another family." Stop making it about you. Understand that we are life changers. And when you realize that every single person has come to you and can look at them as an individual, your heart will automatically connect. Because guys, like Katie said, we all know from a computer system, AI, automation, all of that is better than us. We know that. But there is one thing that can never, ever, ever replace, which is our human connection and our heart. That is the one advantage you will always, always, always have. Lean into it. Get yourself out there. Get on YouTube. Get on social. Make sure everyone knows who you are in your community, because that connection can never be replaced.
And I would, yeah!
Got to clap for that one.
I'd also write this down. Measure what matters.
Always.
Measure what
Always.
matters. Stop just measuring money. Because I am actually, and I had those big confessions last night at dinner. A little bit of wine. I'm like, but measure what matters. I'm making more money than I could. And I'm not. It's not probably a lot by your numbers, but it's blowing my mind. I don't need anything else. I don't need to put a car on my list. I don't need to put a house. I have everything I want. So what do I want now? I should have been measuring my heart stuff way before. Now I am measuring it. I am checking on that, and I care about things like legacy. That is what matters to me. So that's what's driving my business right now. So you should measure what matters and let that drive you more than the money, because money goes up and down, and you got to measure what matters. Got to measure what matters. The money will follow. It always does.
It always
Got to
will.
have faith in that.
We call it put the mission ahead of the commission.
Oh,
Yeah, I like
love
that.
that,
Yeah,
George.
I like
That's
that.
a good one. Put the mission ahead of the commission. That's
Amen.
a good one, George.
Yeah.
Well, we're wrapping up here. We've got just 3 more minutes, really. So let's.
Any questions?
So what do
Yeah.
you guys think? Number one, I want.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Yeah,
Oh,
go ahead. Uh-oh.
shit.
Uh-oh.
I love what you guys are saying. I've been saying this for years, and it's refreshing to hear from other people. But I got to give kudos to our moderator here, because he let you guys go after.
That's very hard, right? Isn't
Blaine! Tell Blaine!
I'm sorry, I was enamored. I was like, yeah, I got to put my heart in this. Come on now. So thank y'all, and thank y'all. And there's a question here.
Hello.
So first thing I want to tell you, brother, that I just heard you, and I echo that too myself, because how you said that, you have something you feel, that's all what you feel. Everybody in this room is a brand, each and every one.
That's right.
When we say that, I can't do this or I can't do that, it's our inner voice telling us that it's stealing our courage away. What you got to do is you got to say to yourself, I can do it, you can do it, we all can do it, anybody can do it.
Woo!
On that note, check my TikTok,
I love it. I love it.
check my YouTube,
I'll-
Herveer Anand.
all right, thank y'all so much. Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
you,
Give it up
guys.
for yourselves, for your heart,
Make
and for
sure
these
you
illustrious women.
introduce yourselves to everyone.
All right, thank you so much. Here comes Miss Jackie. Give it up for Jackie Dunlop, our amazing MC.
Yes, yes, yes.